Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the Frontline Changes report for the past 24 hours for the day of 1189 for the 27th of May. So we're going to jump straight to the frontline changes. The first frontline change is over at the Sumy Front. Over at Vasilivka, so this is the Ukrainian mapping that the Russian forces have captured. This area here, the tree line. So this tree line is now taken by the Russian forces. This is Vasilivka. This is below Vody, and so that is the main frontline change. As the Ukrainians quickly try to catch up with the frontline changes around this sector, as the front line is now going to be starting to have a lot of changes due to the Russian offensive, the Russian super duper uber Sumy offensive. So this advance here down the tree line is around 1 kilometer. So this is a pretty decent advance by the Russian forces. The next front line change after the Sunumi Front one is over in the Dvorichna front, over in Trifka. So I will zoom out just in case it's over here. So over at the border between Russia and Ukraine, over at Trifka, Russian forces has been geolocated over at Trifka, leading to a frontline change as the Russian forces capture the forest and enter into Trifka village. Due to this frontline change around here, the depth from here to the border is around 1.2 to 1.5 kilometers deep. So this offensive is likely to continue. I believe that we're going to continue to see more frontline changes around here. And so this is part of the Dvorichna front. Dvorichna is here. So and over at Kanyamka, also in the same front line, Russian forces have advanced. They have been geolocated over here, advancing towards the fortification west of Kanyamka. And the entire forest over here, the Dvorichna forest, has been entirely taken by the Russian forces as the Russians continue to advance out from the Oskil River towards all this forest zone. This is mapped by the Ukrainian mapping. This piece over here is by the Ukrainian mapping. This is by geolocation. So so the advance within the forest is at the maximum 1.3 kilometers deep. The advance towards the entrenchment is around 400 meters. So if you zoom in, you will be able to see that this area here, there is entrenchment. So this because this satellite imagery is from 2025, so we can actually see that the Russians have actually attacked into the fortification. The full extent of the capture of the fortification is unknown at this moment, so we will continue to monitor. Definitely we can see that the Ukrainian mapping have mapped pretty confidently south of the entrenchment, which means that the Russians is not going to just attack coming from the east, but they also going to come from the south in a two-pronged attack. So we will continue to monitor and see how this continue to develop over in the Dvorichna front. The next frontline change after Kanyamka is over at Stara Mykolaiivka, over at the Niu-York front. So this is Donetsk city. New-York is here. This is New-York. So you're going to zoom in. You see New-York city. And over at Stara Mykolaiivka, over here, the Russian forces have allegedly captured Stara Mykolaiivka. The geolocation of Russian forces have shown that they have taken most of Stara Mykolaiivka at the minimum. We still have not declared the capture, but the Russian Defense Ministry already declared the capture. So this the advance for the Russian forces in this area here, moving as far as 700-800 meters in distance. So this is part of the wider development of the Turtle Crane pincer that is currently happening between Romanivka and Zoria, and the Russian forces is simply pushing out as the Ukrainians are now withdrawing out of this pocket or encirclement that is currently developing at this front line. So after Stara Mykolaiivka, the next frontline change is along the Pokrovsk front. So this is Pokrovsk. Frontline changes is over in this region here at Melanivka and Yelizavetivka. At Melanivka, Russian forces have been geolocated to have advanced to the western point, the western end of the northern street at Melanivka. So this, as the Russian forces will continue to push on to Merne, there are still parts of Malinivka is not captured. The distance advance is around 900 meters. So if I zoom in, you'll probably see a bit more detail. So you can see that the Russian forces geolocated right at the very end of the settlement, clearly showing that they have taken full control of at least the northern street, which will then allow them to hit down to the southern street in the pincer attack. So that's the front line change over at Malinivka. Nearby, over at Yelizavetivka, there's also front line change around here. So let's wait a bit. So you can see the geolocation of Russian forces in the northwest of Yelizavetivka confirmed the Russian advance in this sector. This is northeast of Novotoretsk. So if you zoom in, you can see the Yelizavetivka is around here, and the geolocation is along this tree line. So it's a bit suspicious. It's a bit here and there. So our judgment call is that the Russian forces have hit down the tree line, as well as have continued to advance as they swing up north from the Yelizavetivka towards the tree line. So that is all possibilities. So these are very vague but rather optimistic frontline change. But we have to also take into consideration that Yelizavetivka has been already announced to be captured by the Russian Defense Ministry, and on top of that, the front line has already marked to be all the way here. This is the Russian front line. So an attack into the tree line is not impossible. So this is the main reason why it's mapped in this way. So after Yelizavetivka, there's still one last frontline change is over at Kot Rifka. Still at the Pokrovsk front, over in the southern flank of the Pokrovsk front. In the south of Kot Rifka, Russian forces have advanced in the south from Kot Rifka towards Troitsky and Horikove as they continue to advance down south. So the advance includes some tree lines around here, where the Russian forces have attacked down the tree line, down the gully, and continue to advance in this way. So this is the main gist of the advance around this sector. So the advance here is around 1 kilometers deep, generally, 1 kilometers in all directions from this center point. So that's all from the frontline changes. So the Ukrainians in total did not capture any grounds. So we're gonna do only calculation from the Russians' perspective. So we're gonna put Stara Mykolaievka as the background. So the Russian forces captured 0.69. Let me move it. I think you didn't see. Plus 4.78 plus 1.53 plus 4.51. So the total area captured is 11.51 square kilometers. So we are again back to the 10 square kilometers range, 10 square kilometers plus range. But of course, based on our the recent experience, there could be days of massive frontline changes as the frontline collapse is being calculated. For example, the area around here should have a massive collapse as the Ukrainian forces is withdrawing out of this area here, but we have no updates of this potential frontline change over the past 24 hours. So there is definitely frontline changes that is omitted from or not released into the intel, the open source intel. So we lack the intelligence to report lack the intel to update it beyond the 10 square kilometers plus range that we have right now. So anyway, that's it. So this is the frontline changes report for the past 24 hours. Thank you for watching. Happy birthday to you if your birthday today. And press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next update.